Today. My name is Chris, and this is my channel, We Love Comics. I got a couple of errands to do, but I figured I would do a couple of minutes of a video that I think is very important for people that are looking to invest basically in anything. So you could use this advice not just for comics, it could be whatever you want. So one of the things I've done on my channel, which always ends up being very... there we go. All right, so let's keep this going. What I was talking about, let me rotate this. And it shows how often I do this. But I don't know where it cut off, but I make videos I've done over the years where you could make money selling comics and things like that. Now, I'm not going to talk about any one particular person at all. I watch a lot of different videos, not just on comics, but I watch videos of people that invest in gold and silver and antiques and collectibles and sports memorabilia, cards, etc., etc. So it's not any one particular person or any one particular topic. I'm going to stick with comics because this is a comic channel, but like I said, you could use this basically in anything that you invest in. I hear all the time from people that are investors or collectors that want to sell for a profit of anything. They're always talking about how certain items are already past their peak, or they don't think they're worth investing because the price has gotten a lot higher than they are used to, and they may or may not have pounced when it was earlier, and then it got so high they don't think it has potential anymore. And I'm not saying they're wrong. If that's what they believe in, then that's great. And if it works for you, if you want to stay away from something because you just don't feel like it's going to be going any higher, no matter what you're investing in, trust your instincts. But one of the biggest things, if you have been a subscriber or a viewer of my channel, you will see that it's not about is something at its peak value. What's most important is, can you buy the comic or the stamp or the sports card or the, collectible below its current market value? So you can always make money on something, even if you think it's reached its peak, if you are able to get it at a better price. Now, that's going to be a lot harder with stocks and things like that, because it's not like you can bargain with somebody that owns stocks and be able to get a better deal. I mean, if you could figure a way to do that, please let us know. And if, unless you're a politician, but that's a whole nother story for another time. But there are places like Craigslist, eBay, people on the street. You could make Instagram posts. You could go on Facebook. There, you are limited to your imagination and your ideas and your willingness to put in the effort. So let's say, for example, let's go with Wolverine #1, the 1988 #1 series where Wolverine had his first regular monthly comic. Now, a 9.8 of that book is probably in the $300 to $500 range. And people will say, well, I don't want to spend that on that comic. It doesn't matter what you're willing to spend, it's what somebody else is willing to spend. And when you think about, for example, with Wolverine, if I use that as an example, he is going to be entering the MCU. Now, there are going to be plenty of people say, well, he's already been in the movies. That is absolutely true, and I'm not denying that. But there is a big deal that he's going into the MCU. It's even a bigger deal that it's going to be Hugh Jackman playing the role at least one more time. And it is a big deal. It's going to be on the Deadpool movie, which is also debuting for the first time in the MCU. So if the book is worth, let's say, $500 at a 9.8, and you think that's the peak of its value, and let's assume you're right. Let's assume it doesn't go higher than 500 at all, no matter what. Well, if you were able to see a seller selling it for $498, and you message them and say, hey, I'll give you $400 for this book, including shipping and handling and all the other fees and costs and everything, and they agree to it, and you buy it, let's say, after fees and all the agreements you go through, after the fees and shipping and all the taxes and stuff, let's say you paid an even $400. Well, if you sell it now to somebody for $500, You just made a $100 profit, and it didn't even have to move 1 penny higher than its maximum value. Another thing I say when it comes to investing in anything, when you invest in what you love, it's going to be a lot harder to sell it or trade it because you have the passion in it. A lot of sellers get seller's remorse. They end up, it's like almost like a piece of them, especially if you're collecting valuable comics that maybe were from your childhood. It brings back nostalgia, so it's more than just a monetary gain. And I've seen a lot of times where people had no choice, that they had to sell some of their comics or some of their investments to pay some bills, or had, a hospital bill, or, sending a child to college. Those things tend to be more important. And then you end up regretting, I had Amazing Fantasy 15 and I bought it for $20 back in 1970. And now I'll never get that comic again. So if you can make a profit, as they say, you never have a loss with a profit. But you can have a loss if you wait too long. So as I tell people all the time, you have to get rid of the emotion when it comes to investing in anything. Now, if you're collecting comics because you love the artwork, or you're collecting the comics because you love reading them, or you just like collecting runs of comics because that's your thing, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. But eventually people sell. And you see it all the time because there's lots of auctions on eBay and on YouTube with comic books that are being sold. So, the reality is, it is what it is. So if you want to make money investing in anything, don't go by, well, it's reached its peak, so I can't do anything. Like I said, if it's stocks, that's a little different. But if it's investing in a baseball card, and like I said, if it reaches 500 and it doesn't go a penny higher, and you could buy it for 300 and turn around and sell it for 450, which is $50 below what the actual peak is, you've made a profit. So there's a lot of people that hitch their horses to the wrong wagons. And I'm not saying that they're bad or they're liars or they're wrong or they're trying to deceive you. Because these people, and like I said, it's not just comic books. It's investing in all different places because I like watching videos like that. You can always make money on something, even if it's at its peak, because it depends on what you are willing to do to be able to get something at a lower price and turn around and sell it as a profit. Because not everybody could have bought Ultimate Fallout 4 when it first came out. I didn't know about it back then. I bought them for about $10 to $12. You can't get that anymore unless you go to some yard sale and somebody sells one that they didn't know what it was. There are always needles in the haystack if you're willing to take the time to search for them. If you're not willing to do the effort, if you're not willing to ease up the emotion, if you're just going to follow what's trending and you're going to believe the people that, even though they may think they're right, may have a negative point of view as far as, oh, you can't do this. Who says you can't do something? Just because 1 million people tried something and failed does not mean you're going to be the next person to do the exact same thing. So my cell phone battery's about to die, so I didn't want to make this into a half-hour long video anyway. But my point is, make sure you know what you're investing in. Take away the emotion. Don't be afraid to maybe barter with somebody. Or maybe instead of, if you know how to do a roof and somebody's looking for a roof and to be fixed and they don't have money, maybe they have comic books, or maybe they have baseball cards, or maybe they have sports memorabilia, maybe have, the Beatles' White Album. Maybe instead of cash, you say, hey, I'll do the roof that you need, and you could just give me this particular thing. Tax-free. There's always a way to do it. And stop listening to anybody that says, well, an investment is at this certain amount, so you can't make money, so don't waste your time. That, to me, I love people that talk like that, because that means that's one less person that's going to take advantage of what I am going to do, and that is find a deal on those books, even if they're at the absolute peak and will not go a penny higher. And I've shown that with my Wolverine Limited Series #1. That book right now at a 9.8 is selling roughly, let's just say, an average of $1,000. Well, just 3 weeks ago, I bought it for a little bit over $600, roughly around $650. So even if it doesn't go higher than the $1,000 limit it's at now, which would be crazy to think it's not going to go higher. I could already make a profit. So when everybody else was buying it at 900 to 1,000, I contacted the seller, and then made it happen so where I could make a profit even if it does not go a penny more than $1,000. So if you want to listen to anybody out there in any investment that tells something has reached its peak, you might as well give up on it. That to me makes no sense because you can always make deals. So let me know what you think about this video. Give it a thumbs up if you appreciate my advice. I have many videos to talk about this stuff. Look at all my videos, even my unboxing videos, my PGX videos, because I'm always showing about comics to invest in. And there's always deals to be made and found if you have the patience and know what you're doing. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next video.